Okay. Thanks for joining and good morning and good evening to you all. Today, I'm going to do the overview of the APO demand planning, and tomorrow we are going to discuss in the that we are going to do the configuration in the system. Hope all are able to hear my voice and able to see my screen. So I'm keeping you all mute, Jason, so that you not get a others and you not get any echo voice. So anybody have any questions, you can come to the unmute and you can ask the questions. So if relevant to this PPT, you can ask anytime, and any general questions or any other questions, end of the session, we can ask the questions. Anyway, end of the session, we have a question and answer. So that time you can ask any general questions. And if anybody joined as a first session, so if you have some question, so end of the session we are going to discuss another question also. So APO demand planning, advanced planning and optimization, and DP demand planning. So basically this presentation we are going to cover why we need a demand planning and what is the demand planning cycle and business process, and what are the important configurations we need to do in the system, and what are the demand planning functionalities are there, and how it is going to integrate into the other systems, and advantages of the APO demand planning. So basically the demand planning we are going to use to generate a statistical forecasting. So why we need a demand planning? So demand planning, basically we are going to use the statistical forecasting. Statistical forecasting means to know the company products future sales. Now every month we are going to sell some thousand quantity since 2 years or since 3 years. So what I am going to sell for next 2 years or next 1 year or next 3 years. So the future sales forecast or estimation we can do using this APO demand planning tool. So in the APO demand planning tool, we are going to generate a statistical forecast based on the sales history data, nothing but like a sales invoice data. Like we are going to take as an input our sales invoice data, and we are going to get output what is the future sales. That is the one line we can say this is the demand planning. So if I don't use the demand planning, what is the problem? Like if I don't do the forecasting, so why I want to use demand planning? Like more detailed. Like as yesterday I told one example. In yesterday the APO overview session, I have told one example. Say for example, there is a one plant and mission and the resources are available. So every month they are getting 1,000 demand. And what are the mission they have, what are the plant, what are the resource they have, they are able to produce the 1,000 quantity per month and able to deliver it. So demand and supply both are matching. For example, like after 1 year, the forecast of or the sales is going to be double. Like they are going to sell next year as a 2,000 quantity. But what are the mission, what are the plant, what are the resources, nothing but workers they have, can able to produce only 1,000 quantity, cannot able to produce 2,000. So to achieve 2,000 quantity, so they need to take a new mission, extend a plant, and take a new people. So these are the things we cannot do in a overnight. So like a mission setup, maybe we can import the mission, and to set up the mission maybe it will take 6 months of time. and to extend a plant maybe take another 3 months time, and to take the approval from the government also it will take some time, and to recruit the people also maybe it will take some time to train them, and they are ready to the production also. So if you have the demand planning, like if you forecasted, okay, next year my sales is going to be double, then you can plan it after 6 months, like ordering a new machine and start taking the people and start getting the approvals, everything. So once your demand is reached 2000, now you are able to supply 2000, so your demand and the supply will be matched. If we don't do this job, like if we don't do the forecasting, once your demand is reached 2000, then you are going to start producing a new plant, or you are going to take a new mission, take the new people. It will take another 6 months or maybe 3 months. So till that time you are not able to deliver the remaining 1000 products. So definitely if you are not going to do the deliver, the customers is going for the competitor shops, and definitely you are going to lose the sales. So you are going to lose the sales, and your market is going to be filled by your competitor. So that is the reason the demand planning is important. And we need a proper forecasting values also. That is also we need a demand planning. So if I don't have the proper forecasting, it means like a, say for example, next month I am going to sell some 1000 quantity, but I have forecasted only 750 quantity. So then my machine will produce only 750. So I will miss 250 sales orders delivery. So maybe I need to pay penalty cost, or I will lose the customer service level. Or my next month sales will be 1000 real sales, and I have produced it as a 1500 quantity. So in this scenario, like you are maintaining your inventory as a 50% excess. So the bad forecast quality or wrong forecast quantities are stock out. So to avoid these kind of issues, we need a demand planning. So in the market, like SAP APO is one demand planning tool, have a demand planning tool DP, and like Oracle, some other softwares also, sorry, or maybe using Excel also you can do the forecasting. You can use the Excel or some other legacy tools, you can generate a forecast. So, but why we want to use the APO demand planning only? Like why can't you can use the some other tools for the forecasting? Why I want to use the only APO? The reason is the APO is advancedly developed. So using the APO, we can get more accurate forecast. Like other tools, say for example, if they are giving the accuracy in the forecast like 80 percentage, so APO tool is going to give some 93 percentage. And here we have all kind of advanced algorithms and error analysis and fine tuning option. So these are the reasons it is going to give the good number in the forecasting. And there are a lot of demand planning functionalities also there. So those also supporting by this tool. And in the total ERP world, SAP is a leader. So definitely for planning also people are going to be interested for the SAP. So these are the reasons we are going to choose APO demand planning for forecasting. So APO DP is a forecasting tool. We are generating the statistical forecasting using the sales history, and it is going to support many other demand planning functionalities. And the beauty and success of this tool is this interactive planning screen. This called as a interactive planning table. So in a single screen, you can see the global data and you can see any combination of the data. And you can see a different regions data, countries data, departments data, or particular brand, particular country, how much I am selling, particular brand, particular region, particular DC, particular customer. So you can see any kind of a slice and dice data in a single screen. So this is the selling point, or like it's the beauty or success of the CPO demand planning. So even CEO wants to see, okay, next month what is my sales for the i5 phones? He can see in a single click. So I am going to introduce i6. So what could be the sales for the first month in my introduction month? They can see in the system. So like that, everything we can see, we can manage in single screen. So that is the key success for this tool. And in the APO demand planning, like what are the steps are there, like where it will be start and where it will be end. Normally in interview also they will ask you, okay, what are the business process for APO, DP, or what are the like a demand planning cycle, like that they will ask you. So this is the answer. So like normally to run any tool, we need a master data and a transactional data. Here also we need a master data and a transaction data that we need to set up first. How to, where to, what to, that anyway we are going to see in the system. Just it's a theoretical information. Then people like a business users will analyze the data and any corrections they are going to do it. And then using the APO DP algorithms we are generating the forecast. And if it is a life cycle, we are going to apply. What is the life cycle that we are going to cover in a separate slide in this presentation? I will explain there. Once we generate a forecast, sales and marketing team, they are going to do the promotion. Okay, like in November we have a Thanksgiving, so we are going to sell more 50% of the sales. And then all the like a sales manager, marketing manager, and production and finance, all the managers have a call, and they will review the forecasting and they will finalize the forecast. Once it is finalized the forecast, then we are going to send to the ECC system, or if your client is implemented SNP and PPDS, then we are going to send to the SNP PPDS. If they not implemented SNP PPDS, then we are going to send to the ECC to run the MRP. So the demand planning output forecasting, nothing but a plan independent requirement, is the input for the MRP. So we are going to say that here, okay, since 24 months and since 36 months, we are selling this much quantity. So based on that, next month, next 24 months, we are going to sell this much. So based on that, they are going to plan it. Okay, we are going to sell next month as a 1,000 quantity. So per day, how much we need to produce? So where we need to produce, and to produce it, what are the components we required? So where we need to get this components. So all the further things we are going to do in the MRP, like SNP, PPDS or SAP, PP. So this is a monthly cycle. Normally first week history will load and reviews the data. Second week generate a forecast, review the data. Third week add the promotions, marketing events. Fourth week consensus meeting and review the forecast. Final week release the forecast. So the same thing, more detailed level, like a history preparation and review and forecast generation, marketing intelligence, consensus meeting, nothing but like a final forecasting and release the forecast. So normally in interviews they will ask you the business process or APO demand planning cycle. This is the answer. And these are the important configurations in the APO demand planning. We are going to create a storage bucket profile, planning bucket profile, MPath, planning area, all the things. So anyway, this point of time, this technical information might be you will not understand. Okay, leave it there. But these are the important configurations. So from tomorrow, we are going to start working on this configuration part. Then, so as of now, we understand why the demand planning and what it is doing and why we are going to choose only AP board and what like why SAP product and what are the basic cycle and in the cycle what are the steps are there and what are the important configurations. Now we will see the functionalities of the demand planning. What are the functionalities are there? So interactive planning, as I told, like this is a key success factor of the implementation of the APO. Like all the information you can able to see in a single page, in a single tab, single place. So marketing people they can view their data, sales people they can view their data. If finance wants to see budgeting information, they can see the data. So like any data you can see in a single screen related to the demand planning. See the data in the table, graphical, table and graphical, like any kind of a slice and dice data we can see in a single screen. So this is called as a interactive planning. Like a Excel, you can put a comments, you can write a macros for the calculation, copy paste options, giving a colors, giving a different kind of a chart or graph, many things we can do in a single screen. Then statistical forecasting. So the primary job of this tool is generating a statistical forecasting. So to generate a statistical forecast, like here we have three methods. One is a univariate, and another one is a casual, and another one is a composite. So here, like a SAP given all the formulas, like normally, if you take any company, maybe they have a lot of products are there. So all the products sales will be not be similar. So some of the products may be sell in a different way, and some of the products maybe will sell in a different way. Say for example, some of the products maybe will sell constantly. So forecast also you can expect as a constantly. Some of the products might be will sell as a trend. So upper trend and lower trend. So we will expect the forecast also upper trend and lower trend. Some of the products might be will sell as a seasonality. Particular season the sales is more. So we will expect the forecast also like this. And some of the products might be will sell like a linear. So we will expect as a linear. Some of the products may be zigzag. So you will find the zigzag forecast like that. So like that, whatever the possible sales are there. So SAP given all kind of algorithms. So based on that like a constant trend, seasonal plus trend, like that, SAP given all kind of algorithms. So we can take the formula and we can run the forecast based on the sales behavior. So normally this behavior is identified by the demand planners because that is their primary job. And based on the dependent and independent variables, okay, my price is increased, sales is going to down, climate is changed, sales will be maybe up or down. So advertisement impact the sales. So based on these scenarios, if you want to generate a forecast, that is going to be a casual analysis. And composite, a combination of a univariate and a casual. That is nothing but like a composite. So why it is going to be better forecast? We have already advanced algorithms. If you are not taking a proper formula also, it is going to give the error. Say for example, the behavior is a trend, but I ran constant. It will say that, okay, your forecast is correct, 85% is only. Then again, we have a fine tuning option. So using this, all the things, we are going to get more accurate forecast. So forecast is an assumption. So, but at least here we can achieve more than 95%. And alerts. Any exceptional things are there in the system, it is going to use a messaging. Say for example, I have a 10,000 products are there, and I want to see that if any product sales is greater than the forecast. Like next month, I say that the forecast is 1,000, but I got a orders like a 1,500. So as per the forecast, if you go, you are going to produce only 1,000. So you are going to miss some 500 sales. So that is the reason before we are going to release the forecast, we will compare it. Okay, my sales orders versus forecast. If it is exceeded, I want to get a message. Otherwise, if you ask the user, go and check 10,000 products, where is the sales versus forecast is more, definitely they are not going to do, because even they want to do all, it will take 1 month time. So that is the reason we are going to set up the alerts. It will use a message wherever our sales is exceeded, the forecast, it will trigger the message. Okay, product 1, product 10, product 100 is exceeded. So then they are going to see the 3 products and they are going to do the adding the forecast. It will take some 5 minutes job. So like that we can avoid the exceptional things by getting the alerts. And what type of alerts you want, we can generate it. That is just like how you want, we can configure it. Macros. Basically, for calculations, we are going to use the macro, same like in Excel. Excel, you have experienced to do the calculation. So the same thing we are going to do in the APU also. For that one, we are going to use the macros. And to generate alerts also, we are going to use the macros. And again, there are a lot of functionalities also there for macros. Life cycle planning. So normally if you take any product, the behavior will be, it's like a growth stage, like it's a product introduction, growth, and some point of time the sales will be matured and slowly decline, and maybe some point of time the product will be dead. So this is a normal product life cycle. So here there are two scenarios are there. Say for example, like I have a new product. So Apple i6 they are going to introduce, but they doesn't have any sales history to generate a forecast. So how they are going to generate a forecast? They will take the reference sales of the Apple i5. Okay, i5 we are selling some 10,000 quantity per month. So i6 we are expecting 20% is extra. So then we can say that using this like modeling, okay, refer Apple i5 phone history as a 120% and generate a forecast for Apple i6. So like that for the new product, refer the existing product and generate a forecast, because the new product will not have the sales history data. And normally for all the products I am going to generate a forecast for next 24 months. But some of the products we are going to be absolute by 1 year, next year. So we can give the date, okay, particular this product I want to phase out by this date. Or normally we are generating the forecast for this month. So I don't want to forecast, I want to forecast from October for this product. So like that you can give a predefined dates when you want to start a forecast and whenever you want to end a forecast. So system will give only that range, the forecast also. That is called as a phase-in phase-out. And promotions, SAP APO given a standard promotion, or like you can generate a promotion outside of the APO, you can integrate it to the APO, or maybe CRM if you are using for the promotion, get the data from the CRM also. Like you can integrate any tool, or maybe you can load from the Excel, or you can get it from the outside of the APO also. Then cannibalization. So when you are giving a promotion, the similar product will be impact sometimes. It means like take example Coke 1 liter and Coke half liter. So this is a Coke half liter and selling every month some 1000 quantity. And this is a Coke 1 liter and selling every month some 1000 quantity. So Coke 1 liter is a $3 and Coke half liter is a $1.50. So now they have given a promotion on one liter bottle. So now it is only $2. So then like I went for a Walmart, like I want to buy Coke half liter. And I have seen the promotion. Okay, this is only $2 and this is $1.50. So instead of buying this one, I will buy Coke 1 liter. So like that the sales is going to be up. Actually my intention to buy this one, so I am not buying this one. So this sales is going to be double. This is going to be decrease. So by giving a promotion on one product, it is going to be impact for the similar product sales. So that is called as a cannibalization. So those also we can do in the APO demand planning. The reason is like if we capture this information, so whenever you are going to do the promotion, then you will know that okay, normally this is going to sell 1000 quantity. Whenever I am applying the promotion, it is going to sell some 1700 quantity. And normally this will be sell some 1000 quantity. When I applied a promotion here, this will sell only some 500 quantity. So we have information. So based on it, we can plan for the production. So you need not to produce excess or you need to produce less quantity. So that is the advantage of the cannibalization. And the seasonal planning, we can create a season and we can generate a forecast. So it is going to give the forecast based on your seasonality. And a consensus meeting, as I told, like all the departments, sales, marketing and operations, sales, marketing, operations, all the teams will have a call every month. They will review the forecast and any corrections they are going to do it, and they are finalizing the forecast. This we are going to send to the ECC or like a ABO, SNP PPDX for MRP run. Collaborative demand planning. So any key customers are there, like I am getting some 30% revenue from customer A. So for them, I will give the like a value addition. So I will like they will ask me, boss, you don't generate a forecast. I will give my number, whatever I am going to sell. So give that much quantity. Yes, definitely, because he is our key customer. So we will give our APO demand planning access to them via internet. So instead of we are generating, they are going to give their forecasting numbers. So based on that, we are going to do the production. So via internet, we can give the access our APO system, but we can control by authorization. So they can able to read, they can able to write only their data. And integration. Overall, SAP APO system and SAP ECC system integrated by SAP standard interface. It's called as a CIF4 interface. You can integrate non-SAP systems also to APO, that is ALE, BAPI or IDOCS. And APO demand planning. APO demand planning basically having a inbuilt BW, like a BW is a data warehousing tool. So you can get a data from the R3 using this BW, or if client is already maintaining a central BW, so you can get the data from the central BW server. So here the integration we can say like a BW for DP BW integration. So using the BW, I can extract the data, and there is a program to call the data from BW to APO. Then using this sales history, you can do the forecasting, planning, and you can store the data so that it's a backup. So tomorrow something is happened also, I can give the backup. I can give assurance my client, okay, your data is going to be backed up safely. So if they have a BW, then instead of getting the data from here to here, I can directly get from here to here. So these are the things like to get a data for the APO DP as an input, and this data again you can send to back your BW system. So they are going to give the business reports also. And these are the advantages of APO demand planning. Like who are implemented APO demand planning, they give the feedback. Okay, we have increased the customer satisfaction 96%. We have reduced the stock also this much. So on whatever we have discussed, all these are the like advantages of this APO demand planning. So in a simple way, how it is going to be work. So like this is my sales history data for particular product. So every month I am selling since 2 years, like 160, 170, 180, 190. Then if you use the APO demand planning, it is going to give the forecast like this: 270, 280, 290. Then sales and marketing people, they will give the input. Okay, August month we are going to sell more extra 50 quantity. Then in the consensus meeting, maybe they will tell, okay, you are going to sell more 100 also, you need to sell more 100 also. So my forecast is 400. It's like a formula. So the same way in APO also it will work. In the APO also it is going to be work as a same way. Let me show the thing on screen so that you will get a fair idea. So here you can select what product, what locations data you want to see. Based on that, okay, particular this product and particular this location, it will tell that, okay, these are the sales order, this is our history, this is our forecast, this is our promotion, this is our manual correction, and here it will calculate the total forecast. Say for example, if I change this number, see automatically the calculation will happen. If I give some numbers, automatically this like how Excel is behaving, the same way it is behaving here also, but more graphical. So this is the way APO demand planning is going to work. Anyway, from tomorrow we are going to see the configuration code in the system. So this is just like a overview what APO demand planning is going to do. So any questions from anybody? Please let me know. We done the day. We done the day. Just a minute. We done the day. So if any questions, please go ahead. And if you don't have the question, you want to drop also, you can drop. So this is the real first session, like the demand planning we started. And like yesterday, I took the session like a overview APO. What is the APO is going to do? So that is already I have sent a recording session and what and the presentation to everybody. So please check it, and maybe if you want whenever something 1 3 day we will discuss that part. So really you are not missing anything. So this is the first session. Today's is the first session. So this is from my end today. So anybody have any questions? Yes, go ahead now. Yeah, Jishan.
Yes, hi. When you were explaining statistical forecasting, right? You said that it's set on sales in Y state. So is that something that you can set it up for history, like doing PGI instead of in Ys, or from deliveries?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Okay, when we were discussing the statistical forecasting, PPT, that slide, you mentioned that we get the heat based on sales invoice date,
Correct.
right? So is that something that we decide whether we want that to be sales order invoice date, or we want that to be delivery PGI date, or, or the delivery date for
Normally,
that? For that to be
not,
criteria of history.
normally the people are going to take the sales invoice data because like whatever you are sold, so based on that you are forecasting, you are going to get good number. But if they want something, okay, based on the deliveries, I want to generate a forecast, or based on my sales order, I want to generate a forecast. Yes, we can do it.
Okay, so that is okay. So that's what they call in ECC key figures.
Yeah, key figures are nothing but like a sales orders or deliveries, like what are the transaction, like, or what are the number.
Okay, all right, thanks. One last question. When you were showing a slide, and we can view on a single screen data from different departments, different plants and things like that. Is it possible to view, one material or one product data which is maintained on two distribution centers or two different plants at the same time?
Yes, that is also possible. 1:n also possible.
Okay, all right, perfect, thanks.
And normally this will happen also. Like maybe one product we are going to distribute from the different DCs. Yes, that is possible.
Okay, all right, thank you. Right, these are the only questions we have.
Okay, thank you. So others also any questions you can go ahead and like you can unmute yourself. If you are not able to unmute yourself, please let me know. I will unmute you. And tomorrow same go to meeting link and same time please join. So we will start working in the system.
Okay, we are free to leave.
Yeah, we done the day.
All right,
So
thank you.
thanks
Talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, bye-bye.
and for your interest. Rakesh, any questions from our side? And I send this